So, on today's podcast, we are going to be going over Logic the rapper, his music, some of his inspirations, and life stories that he portrays through his music. So, very much looking forward to that. I am joined today by Jorge and Dakotah, and we also have a special guest, Justin, aka Reddit user GoldenSayian. So, I hope you enjoy. So, we're talking about Logic, right? And the reason I'm doing this episode and the reason why I even know about Logic at all is because of my co-host. Wait, I don't know where he. Yeah, I think I'm pointing the right way. Jorge, right, is actually the one who first introduced me to Logic. And the very first song I ever heard was Super Mario World. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which the hook was amazing. It's so easy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. So, yeah, we're talking about Logic. And we have a new person on the podcast today, Justin. Why don't you go ahead? Or, well, do you want to be called Justin? Or is there something else that you normally go by?
Justin's fine. I mean, I don't really have anything besides my like Reddit handle or something, but I don't know if you want to say the Golden Saying the whole time.
No. Yeah, no, as long as you're cool with Justin. So, yeah, so we'll continue there. And Justin, congratulations. You're a first for us. You're actually the first person that we talked to that we don't have a personal relationship
Hell
with
yeah.
beforehand. So you want to tell people how you got to be on the podcast today?
Well, as you know, my name's Justin, and luckily I was on Reddit one day and I saw a Logic discussion post, and Ralf here posted a thing where it's like he wants to interview Logic fans, and I was like, hell yeah, I've always wanted to do a podcast. I love Logic, so why not? Hit him up, and now here we are.
I got you. All right. Well, and I appreciate it. And one of the things that I'm really trying to do with this is kind of, and it's a very Logic esque thing if you think about it. Just talk about the things that I love, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
Logic is one of them. But why don't you tell us what's the first Logic album you ever heard or first Logic song?
It has. I believe I've heard The Incredible True Story was the first album. I don't know about song, but probably Fade Away, or it was my sister getting on to showing me some of his like kind of underground stuff. I guess it was Flexecution.
Yeah. That's a good one.
So, and then I just went on from there. But like I said, An Incredible True Story is like one of the first big like albums of his that I like listen to on a daily. Like it's just through high school and trying to understand myself with that album, and then finding his other stuff. It was just incredible. It was not like life changing, but to find someone that can rap about something they love or create things through their rapping stories and stuff wise, it's just that's why I love him. Especially with Incredible True Story, because on Wikipedia, he I don't know if it was him. It was probably was him, but someone wrote like the whole story behind the Incredible True Story, like the
Hmm.
purpose behind the album, and it's just like this is incredible.
Do
So,
you remember anything about the purpose?
so the purpose of the Incredible True Story and transformation is like what they say through the whole album. Um, at least with the Wikipedia article and like the scenes throughout the album is so there's two guys in a spaceship, which is Kai and William Kai. I can't remember the other dude's name, but basically they're in the spaceship and looking for paradise because Earth has depleted all their resources and it's dying, and I think only about like a third of the human race is left. So they're trying to find a new planet so everyone can live on it because everyone's living on a space station right now. And everything they see is a simulation. They've never been on Earth or a planet. So it's just these two guys going through space. And it's kind of funny because the first scene is the captain meeting Kai, and he was like, "What took you so long?" And he was like, I was going through an asteroid belt, so that's what took so long." And he was like, what were you doing on the way up here?" He was like, "Oh, listening to the first Logic album." He's like, "Logic? What the fuck you know about Logic?"
Yep. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I guess maybe we should go around and ask everybody how they've got into Logic.
Yeah, go for it, Dakotah.
Sorry.
Um,
Oh no,
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 you're
bro.
fine, you're fine.
This is what it's all about. You're the guest fan, so
Yeah.
you're the main dude.
That,
Although Jorge, give me a second, Dakotah. Jorge, even though he doesn't talk that much, I have a feeling you're gonna get to know him a little better today. But Dakotah, what's drop some knowledge on us on how you got into knowledge.
I've heard people talk about Logic before, a lot, and I never really listened to him. I remember at one point though, the first Logic song I heard was from a Titanfall 2 montage.
What?
And it was Fade Away, and I was like, okay, I'll listen to more of this, And so I ended up listening to the whole album, freaking loving it. And right around that time, I was traveling a lot. Like I was, I don't remember. I think I flew to LA for like 3 weeks, and I was pretty much by myself in LA. And so I spent most of that time listening to Logic, catching up with Logic, like missing out on all the stuff I hadn't heard before. Fade Away is still my favorite Logic song by far, but also I know the name of the song, and now that I tried to think of it, I completely lost it. Is Lord Willin'. I love that song because before I was a huge Logic fan, I was also a pretty big Gambino fan, and Lord Willin's a sample from 3005, kind of remixed.
I did not know that. That's good knowledge.
Yeah, and so that's how I got into Logic, and then of course, it's kind of a silly thing to identify with a artist for, but he's biracial. He's half black and half white, and I am half white and half Mexican, or Latino, I should say. And
you
so,
lie,
like
Dakotah. You lie.
Raps a lot about being biracial and kind of issues being on both sides of it, being both races. So it's kind of cool, kind of something I liked a lot about him. What about you, Jorge?
I remember the first time I even heard about him. So I had a buddy back in high school, and I just went to a Gambino concert because of the internet. And I came back to school. He's like, "Oh man, you like Childish?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I just went to the concert." And he's like, "Oh, you gotta check out this guy named Logic." I was like, "Who's that?" And he showed me Driving Miss Daisy because that was a feature with Childish on it. And then since then, I've just been listening to as much as I could. I was like, man, this is good. And then I think the next song I listened to was Nikki. That's a great song. So just started from there.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. All right. And what do you guys think? Okay, if somebody asked you what is the first Logic lyric that comes to mind when you think of Logic, what would you guys say would be the first line that comes to your mind?
Can you repeat the question? I'm distracted. Sorry.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, I said, no, you're good. And you could go first, Justin, after I re-ask the question. But if somebody asked you to say a Logic album or a Logic lyric, what would be the first lyric that comes to mind? And Justin, I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, it's from the 1-800 album, and I think it's Black Spider-Man, where he says, speaking about the biracial stuff, he said, it's not an album if Logic ain't talking about being biracial by Coastal.
That is true. He does touch a lot of that, and it's interesting that and I forget which song it is, but he's like, some people tell me that I should be ashamed to be black, and then other people look at me like my grandfather didn't take a whip to the back. So he is kind of caught between that weird space of being part of one world but not completely accepted, but also not being accepted by the other part of the world. So you're right, that does encapsulate logic quite a bit. What about you? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, like, piggybacking off of you, it's off of his first album, Under Pressure. I don't remember. I think it's either Soul Food or one of the other ones. But basically, going off of what you were saying, not being accepted by one race or the other. Like, his mom was like, his mom hated that he was half black, and his dad hated he was half white. He would call him a cracker, like, in the house and stuff, and he would go to school and just get bullied, like, all day and every day.
Yeah. It's even so hard to relate to. Well, it's not hard to relate to as far as not fitting in somewhere, but it's hard to think of your parents not accepting who you are, even though it was their choices in life that brought you into fruition. So it's kind of that's just mind blowing. Having to deal with that must have like really messed with his psyche as a child.
Yeah.
It probably messed with him to this day because he didn't really have a childhood. I think that's why, like, psychologically, like, I know he's grown up, but he just wants to be who he is, like playing video games and all that, and on stage and just acting like a child sometimes. But that's okay. I mean, you're just trying to get your childhood back because your parents fucked you over.
That's true. Talking about that, like, one really weird thing is when we went to his concert. So I got to go to a Logic concert with these two guys, Jorge and Dakotah, and probably one of the funnest things that we've gotten to do together. But do you guys remember what's the really weird thing that we all were like, why did he have us do that during the concert?
Couldn't he have us scream F you or something like that? I don't remember.
Yeah, so he got up on stage and he's like, I want everybody to yell, fuck you. And then, like, everybody was kind of confused and no one did it. And he left. Like, he just got off stage.
What?
And everybody was like, what the hell just happened? And then he got back and he's like, you better say fuck you. So, like, he made the whole crowd just chant fuck you to him.
He's really about crowd pleasing and stuff. I remember I actually went to his last concert before COVID happened. The store, I don't remember the album name, but Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. But his first song in that, Homicide, he started the song over like 5 times before he like actually went through it because he was like, he just wanted everyone to be really hype about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god.
No, I just thought it was I thought it was weird, to be honest with you. Like, most of the time, and I'll give you a really good example. I got to see what is it? Is it 3 Doors Down?
I think so.
Those things Kryptonite.
Yeah.
No, not 3 Doors Down. Third Eye for a Blind Guy?
Third Eye Blind?
Third Eye Blind. Oh my god, I don't know where my head's at. Third Eye for a Blind Guy. I think I mixed the.
That sounds weird. It sounds a little sexual.
Reminds me of that character from Dragon Ball Z with the third eye on top.
Yeah, I want to know what kind of kinky stuff you're thinking of, Dakotah, that made it sound sexual. But no. Okay, so Third Eye Blind, right? That dude, like, I mean, I like their music, but when I saw them in concert, I was so disappointed because that dude was just standing there, like basking in like the crowd loving him, and it was like kind of like a weird, gross thing. I'm like, I didn't really like it, and like Logic was the complete opposite. He wanted the crowd to get like angry with him so that he could like rap even harder. I don't know. So
well, I saw this documentary. Yeah, I saw this documentary where he's about to go on stage and he's like, I can't do this, and then he like starts dry heaving, and then like after like one of the third dry heaves, he just goes out there and starts rapping. I forgot what song he opened with, but in the beginning he's like, I can't do this, and he's like, ugh, and he's just dry heaving like a couple of times before he just goes out there and kills it.
Oh no,
that's cool.
I kind of got chills of that. I don't know why. I think he's a very good example of somebody that has faced a lot of adversity in his life, and he could have easily been a really bad character, right? But he chose different. He chose to hustle, and he chose to make his dreams come true, like he says in a bunch of songs.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I personally
That's
find
like
that
one
really
big
inspiring.
trope of his.
Oh yeah, and I think that's also like another one of his lyrics is he's like, oh, man, I wish I remember the lyric. I just heard it like 5 minutes ago. By the way, I had usually I like to plan for these, but I had no time this week to prepare for this podcast. Well, I did have time. I started playing Dark Souls though, and that messed me up.
I was playing Logic nonstop this whole week, the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
just listening to him. But I mean, I love him too, so he's on my constant rotation.
Yeah. Gotcha. There's always a couple of Logic songs in my rotation somewhere. It just depends. Like my music is very, it changes a lot. Like whatever music I'm listening to. So, but there's usually always a couple songs that are always gonna pop up somewhere.
Right. So, what's your lyric then, Dakotah? What are the couple? All right.
Lord willing, life ain't picture perfect. We use the negatives to develop.
Yeah.
Man, I saw you reading the lyric off of your screen.
Nope.
No? Nope. No. Okay. A little impressed. And why is that your standout lyric, Dakotah?
I mean, kind of what we talked about. I mean, and it's kind of like a thing that we've talked about, even just like in our personal lives many times, is that there are sometimes people that we know that have just, I mean, at least from the outside, just like easy lives, right? And there are some people who grow up in less than ideal circumstances, and they have to deal with crap all the time. And I would rather be around people who have had to go through some shit and deal with some stuff, because those people, and if they come out on top, they are better for it. Because there are people who use negative things happening to them as a crutch to not do anything. I have relatives like that. Or there are people that when bad stuff happens to them, they think about how they can come out, they can do better, and they want to improve. And so, and improvement's a big thing for me. Like I'm always kind of thirsty to get better at whatever I'm into. And so that song especially, like he's obviously talking about his character development just from going through stuff. And if Logic, I mean, like we know, he's gone through a bunch of crap in his life, so he's developed his character a ton.
I hear that. And that kind of reminds me of one of my favorite quotes of all time. And it's smooth seas don't make skilled oh my god, tongue twister. Smooth seas don't make skilled sailors.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like, hey man, if you've had an easy life, like, hopefully you don't get caught in a storm because you're not going to know how to handle it, And I, as much as I appreciate the good times in life, I do have to appreciate the tough times as well, because wouldn't be who I am without them. And definitely something that shows through his music. So definitely something that I relate to. Jorge.
Well, kind of piggyback off Dakotah's saying, especially since I just listened to the interview too, The Return, where he says, I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with anybody, because don't none of y'all know a thing of fucking about me or what I've been through. So kind of going through that. I think that's just because that's like the most recent one in my head right now, but there's always different lyrics floating around. Sometimes at work I'll be killing it, all I could think about is what's that song called, Every Day?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
with Marshmello.
I work hard every motherfucking day. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so sometimes at work I'll just be killing it, I'll just be thinking about that song. So.
the
substitute lyric is I ain't at the club throwing bills, I'm at GameStop. That sounds so great. The dude,
super relevant too.
The dude saw the future, man.
I know.
It's like his newest album, his last one before he retired. Dad Bod, like that song where he's like, y'all motherfuckers want to know my life story, but I've already told you it. And then he just tells like his 9 to 5 where he's like, I'm at Target and I'll see a girl with a fat ass walk by, but I'm just trying to see if Downey holds the most trash.
Yeah.
Well, that's because he's married and has a kid.
Yeah.
I go to Target. I look. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, there are also, like people like that. Like, he's been grinding since he was a kid.
Young, yeah.
So for him, like he had his son. He's passed a major milestone in his life that he's probably been thinking about for like a million years. And so now he's just just loving the life that he's living right now. So it's also probably it.
And how the man has a Twitch partnership and he's doing what he loves to do even more.
Yeah,
dude.
Yep.
I can see that talking about Fortnite and songs and beating the Uncharted games and always talking about video games.
Yeah.
Uncharted's lit.
I love Uncharted.
What was I gonna say? And on I think it was on Last Call, on Young Sinatra 4, he talks about getting where he's at without having to sling drugs on the street, basically. Which I think it's kind of funny because he's a rapper that pays homage to other rappers big time, and a lot of the rappers that he pays homage to, that's exactly how they got their start.
Yeah.
But he chose to do it a different way, and I mean, you can't really judge people off of their circumstances. So I'm not saying anybody that has done illegal stuff to get where they need to be in life. Not to pass judgment. I just think it's a smarter way, or it's better if you can do it a safer way for yourself and get there. Yeah. So that's pretty respectable on his end that he doesn't pretend to be or glorify something that he's not.
And I think the reason why he chose that way, because again, back to his childhood, he literally saw like in his household, his brother was selling drugs and his dad was buying those drugs off his brother. His mom was an alcoholic, and he lived with that for so long. I think that's what also influenced it, because he just wanted to start it a different way.
Yeah.
And
go on.
He just learned from like a very early age. And he's had from like his first album too, Under Pressure, one of the lyrics is like Child Protective Services were knocking on his door and he was scared because he was going to be taken away. And it's just, that Logic has seen so much shit in his life that I don't think one person should see in a whole lifetime.
Yeah.
At such a young age.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And it's kind of sad that he's gone through so much. Didn't Jorge, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't he say he like got kidnapped as a child?
I think that was one of his siblings.
Oh, one of his siblings got kidnapped?
Yeah.
Damn. Didn't know that.
Yeah, like I don't know. And like I think like I'm pretty sure he got like abused. I don't know what kind of abused, but I think he got abused by like one of his foster parents or somebody that took care of him like for a little bit, which is also scary. It's just a lot of stuff. Like when you listen to his stuff, like his music, which that's why I think he talks a lot about mental health and balance. And it's something that they say that is like taboo in especially minority households. I think white America or Caucasian Americans, especially the more affluent you are, like taking a pill for depression or something is not that big of a deal, or having to go to the psychiatrist is not uncommon or unheard of. But if like I tried to tell my dad, hey dad, I'm depressed, You know, I need to go talk to somebody.
They tell you to stop. We'll stop being depressed.
Like, you know, like why you depressed for? You know, you're not working hard enough. You don't got no much to do. You know, something like that. When
it's so hard for parents to understand that too. Like especially like that generation, because like they're just, I mean, they've dealt with it, but they grew up like just learning like to suppress it or just to get over it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I mean, you don't need help. We, especially your parents, like they base the idea off like I've raised my kids so perfectly, like nothing can be wrong with them. And it takes a lot for a parent to actually admit that there's something wrong with their child.
Yeah.
It's actually funny. I was watching. Have you guys ever seen The Good Doctor?
No.
No. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we won't get into it. But there is a patient, right, on the show. It's a medical show, and the patient says he wants to live forever. So he like did a bunch of weird stuff to his body. But his reasoning behind it, he says, it takes the first 40 years of your life to get over whatever your parents did to you.
Jesus.
And no, well, like he says that's not what he figured, right? He's like, so I want to live longer so that I could actually enjoy my life from like after that. And I think, you know, it's kind of sad to say, but you're right. Like a lot of times parents don't understand. And I think that, you know, that front of I'm the parent, I know better than you. I think maybe as generations goes on, there like that mentality is changing, but it's very true. But it's surprising how many good artists have bad parents, right?
Yeah.
Or parents that like messed them up. And well, and Logic's a very good example. But do you guys think that it's important for an artist to have some sort of very obvious hardship in order for them to be a good artist?
It depends on what you'd say like obvious, right? Because we all know people who have gone through stuff, and sometimes some of that's almost like, I wouldn't say fabricated, but it's you look from the outside and you're like, that's not like, why are you like this? You have a good life, like, you know, like there hasn't been a bunch of crap. Like my life's been harder than yours. Why are you acting like this? And so I wouldn't necessarily say, because it's all up to the person. It's all up to the individual and what they perceive, their perceived experiences are. Because there are plenty of artists that have grown up in affluent households, loving families, and yet they still end up being successful artists and not going through a whole bunch of hardship. You never know. There are people, it could just be your first heartbreak in high school, and that'll be enough to awaken the inner artist in you, right? To a parent, that's not an obvious hardship. That's life. But to every 16-year-old kid, it kills you. It kills
the
you
worst thing
inside,
that can ever happen.
You never know.
Dakotah,
I think.
Did you write breakup poetry in high school?
No.
Sounds like a yes.
Not in high school.
Not in high school.
All right. Jorge, what you think?
It just depends. I mean, it depends how they write their music and how they want it to come across. Like the song Nikki is a good example. It's about him and his addiction to nicotine. But he said he wanted the first layer to be like a breakup song so that any man or woman can relate to the song. And then following that up, it's revealing how he's actually addicted to nicotine, and that's Nikki. And then anybody could have an addiction. It could be addiction to alcohol, cigarettes, weed, pills, anything. So it's kind of, I guess it's on the discretion of the artist on how he puts the song together and how he wants it to come across.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Justin, what you think?
I think basically what y'all been saying, it totally just, it's up to them. I don't think every artist needs to be like from a broken household. Logic is a great example, like don't get me wrong. And like I'm sure a bunch of people could relate with him. And it's just, I think just depending on your talent, maybe like have some life experiences, and that could work great with you, just so you can be more relevant with the crowd, so people can like understand you more. But honestly, I think it's just up to your talent and like how you write your songs and how you convene with the people that you want to listen to your music.
Yeah, I feel that.
And one thing you think about, like, for example, like an author, like a great author that writes these incredible stories and like does all this crazy world building. Like, I mean, just an obvious example, like George R.R. Martin, who built this whole Game of Thrones universe, right? And in the same vein, like a great songwriter doesn't necessarily have to firsthand experience said suffering to write about it. He can imagine what it's like and think about it, and then that will help him kind of write about the experience. I mean, I think that's actually pretty commonplace.
Yeah, and I think if people, like what you said, they want to write about hardships that they haven't really experienced themselves, they have to be very careful in how they word it, because some people might get really mad as like, this doesn't really happen and I can't relate to this. So if they want to write about something that doesn't happen to them, they have to do a lot of research at first.
That's true. I actually I'm trying to remember who it was. I think if I'm not mistaken, it was Brandon Sanderson. And I've talked about him before. I know you guys haven't read it. Justin, have you read any Brandon Sanderson books?
No.
Okay. No big deal. But pretty cool fiction writer, who in my opinion is probably going to be like the next George R.R. Martin one day. I'm pretty sure he's going to surpass a lot of like old school fantasy writers, because his stuff is great, and they're going to start making movies and TV shows about his stuff soon, so I'm sure he'll blow up once that happens. But he said that he tried to write a character like a mentally disabled person, or I think it was like a character with autism, and he went through it with the first draft first, and then he pitched it to some people that he knew that were autistic or that worked with autistic or special needs people, and they're like, you did this completely wrong. And they're like, you have to go back and write this, write that. So I think you're right. I think if you are going to write something that you're not really familiar with, you probably need to run whatever you're writing by somebody that's actually gone through it, because if not, you'll probably get canceled. I mean, today I think go ahead.
Sorry. You gotta put yourself in their shoes for a while. It's just like method acting, because I mean, those guys just get into the role and they don't get out of it till filming's done.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Or you think about like a very empathetic person can experience the feelings of something happening without it actually happening to them, oftentimes. And Logic, I mean, at least from my limited experience of him as a person, I would imagine he seems like he's quite the empathetic individual. He feels things on a different level. The way he deals with his emotions kind of seems like he'd be that kind of person.
Right. Which that's probably what led to his most popular song, right? Which is
1-800.
The 1-800. Hey kids, it's the 1-800 guy. Yeah, he said
door suicide.
Right. Jorge, didn't you kind of gave me a story of what he was saying, or something about that song, like when he performed it and when he wrote it?
Oh, so what did they go to, like the Grammys or the MTV Awards?
Like
so when he was writing it, or when they asked him to perform that song, he wanted to get like 75 people with like mental illness and the been through stuff in the background. That's why there were so many people there. And he told, I think it was a CCO of Visionary. He's like, I want this done. And he's like, all right. He's like, we could have done like just a screen of where, like now how it is, and days like COVID, where just a screen of people Skyping in, but like they're like, no, we need to fly these in because this is what Logic wanted, and you can see that he kind of cares for his, or he really does care for his fans, and the same thing happened with what is it, Young Sinatra 4, when he flew out a bunch of people to listen to the album before he even released. So he's definitely an empathetic person.
Yeah. But didn't you tell me? So correct me if I'm wrong, because this probably jog your memory. Weren't you telling me that when he was writing this song, he didn't really want to write the song because he knew how dark it was going to be, and so he wrote the song, and it like basically tore him apart on the inside, and he was like, after he was done, and after like his friend, I think you said it was his friend, recorded the melody and the what is it called when they like improvise, like, you know, the flourishes during the song, that once he heard it all together, he got like really emotional and stuff like that, and he's like, all right, he's like, glad that's done. Now let's move on to the next thing. Let's make something a little bit more lighthearted. But then the messed up thing is that it was his like super breakthrough song, right? That's the reason why he got the Grammy. Now it was the song that it was like almost expected to him to perform every night. Yeah, and it makes it tough. And I think it would be interesting if one of the toughest things that you had to do creatively was like the thing that you were known for. And like that's what people expect out of you when you go out.
I mean, we talked about Radiohead and Creep. They hate Creep.
They hate Creep. Yeah.
They hate Creep.
I think he sees it a little differently than Tom York, though.
Yeah, I'm sure, but it's kind of like in the same vein, though, right? Imagine you write something that you're kind of just like, or you're not. It's not like your favorite thing that you've written yet. It's what makes you famous. Because I mean, Logic was already famous, but it took him to a whole other level with that song. That song was played everywhere.
I think that was when that album released. It was like the most played song of any of his songs ever. It's just it's such big for him. But like I said, like you said, it's so heartbreaking for him to perform it, and I can just imagine him going on that every stage and people wanting to hear that song.
And why do you guys think that it was his biggest song?
Because of the message.
Yeah, I feel like so many people are going through it nowadays, especially like even in his newer albums. It says at the end it says social media could cause depression. And now with all the social media stuff, like it's just so easy for, especially young kids. I don't know if you guys seen The Social Dilemma, but it's so easy for them to get like depressed just over a few likes on their Instagram post, or not getting enough attention on their social media, and just looking at other people's lives. They aren't necessarily real on social media. They're just posting what they think is the best part and showing it out to everybody else.
Dude, being that kid in middle school, like it definitely tears you up inside, just like in your head space. Oh, no one likes me enough to give me enough likes on Instagram or Facebook or anything. And it's just, that can cause so much depression and anxiety in yourself. Like you can't think the same or work the same as you would, because you don't have the following as other people do on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and also those are such formative years that, you know, you're looking for your own identity. You want to, you know, at least my case, you know, like I had no idea what I wanted to be or who I was or anything when I was in middle school and high school. And that's when Facebook was huge, and I wasn't able to even, I don't think I was allowed to get a Facebook until I was like 11 or 12 or 11th or 12th grade by my parents. And
I think that's a smart move by your parents.
Oh, for sure. But even then, like, you know, I remember posting stuff, just kind of wanting to see like who really paid attention, I should say, right? Or like who, like you try to find out who your real friends are. You put something on Facebook, no one replies, and like, oh well, shit. You know?
Nobody likes me.
And it takes, and sometimes those people, I mean, it takes years because not everybody's is the same way, you know. Like, I know who my real friends are now, and it's not the people that it's not the people that you would think are on my social media all the time, you know. Most of them are in this podcast, so
yeah,
it's one of those things.
Yeah, and I'm kind of I'm an old man. MySpace and Facebook barely was like up and coming, like my junior and senior year of high school. So I was fortunate enough that I didn't have to deal with all that pressure of like being on social media and all that stuff. And even if I did, like, I probably wouldn't have been on it because my mother at that point in time, my mother thought the internet was the devil.
She's basically the mom from The Water Boy.
A bit, yeah, yeah, she really was. She's like, that's the devil, you know. It's ensnaring you. It just wants to make you part of the world. Like, I probably wouldn't have been on it, but I'm kind of happy that I didn't. And I'm really bad at social media, which is probably the hardest part of doing a podcast, is trying to be on social media and getting people to notice and get likes and try to listen to what you're trying to put out there.
It only gets worse whenever you get really big.
Oh, I know, right? I know, because then everyone's gonna scrutinize every single little thing you do.
And then you get sponsorships, you get it demonetized. You gotta watch what you say.
Demonetized.
Not only that, I don't remember what song it was, but he even says it. He's like, I don't remember which one I was listening to. I think I was listening to Under Pressure earlier today. You know, when you hit that level of fame, like, not only you actually have more friends than you ever had, but less real friends, because everybody wants to be your friend. Everybody wants to kind of get in on the bread that you're winning, right?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's like you're a cousin from the other side. Oh, well, your mama lied. I don't remember what song that's talking about. Yeah, I just don't. But yeah, and so that's also a whole other thing they're dealing with at the same time.
Yeah, this new family that pops up every time.
So really quick before I got a comment on that, but Jorge earlier said social dilemma. So before we move off of social media, I just want to say, if you have not watched it, watch it, because it kind of makes you think that maybe your thoughts are not your own. But going back to what you guys were jumping on with like people coming up, and one of his songs, he said, "Hey, there was the four of us. We were the Rat Pack. You know, we're coming back up, and now everybody's jumping on the train, or everyone's saying that, you know, they're part of it, even though they weren't really part of the Rat Pack, right? Which is like his original friends." But also really something interesting. He says, every day I'm doing it for the squad, right? Do you? So I think part of the reason why maybe so many albums, or why he worked so hard, is because the people that supported him when he was first coming up, because he was homeless, right? The man, I forgot what his name is. The big dude.
Big
Limbo.
Big Limbo. Yeah.
There's Big Sean and Big Limbo.
Let me just tell you guys something. Everybody needs a big guy in their life. Okay. I'm just gonna say it. Everybody needs a big guy in their life.
I'm getting so scrutinized about that sentence I just said.
But like, do you think, like, if let's say tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, for some reason you become super successful, super famous, do you feel like, is there an obligation for the people that were there at the beginning?
Hell yeah. My dog even agrees. He's like barking and
What was the question? I apologize.
He's like, "You better buy me bacon."
Yeah.
I know. Like, but to be honest with you, I don't think so. He promotes a lot of peace, love, and positivity, and to be honest with you, I think only the people that have contributed to my well-being, my happiness, my pursuit of my dreams are really the only people that really deserve that kind of obligation for me.
Yep, I agree with that.
And I think there's toxic people that always want to make their way into your life or control how you feel about yourself or how you act or whatever. And I think when you're in that type of world or when you have that type of success, it's really hard to stay grounded. But it looks like just keeping his friends and his family close, and even forgiving the ones that did him wrong. Like he talks about his dad a lot, right? And how his dad messed him up, but his dad is trying, even though he asks him for money, every once in a while. Which I could feel that. My dad, when he was still around, was in a bad situation, and I had to send him money all the time, and it's a tough thing, but I don't know. I think I would like to say that if I was in that situation, I would want to feel the same way and kind of helping my friends and family out. But I don't know. It's tough to say what would really happen.
If I woke up tomorrow and I made it big from something I did, I'm not going to forget the people who always had my back, right? I'm not going to go and throw money at everybody, though, that I know that I would consider my friends. I'm only going to help, I'm only going to throw money at like the people who are like my family, right? Because really good friends are the family you choose. So,
Yo, Dakotah, you remember that one time you called me brother?
Yeah.
It's so hard for like people that are big to do that as well, because you have to be so careful on how you do it, because if you just kind of start spoiling the people around you, then they're gonna like, oh, he's gonna do this for the rest of for the rest of his life, or however he's big and making all this money. So you just have to be careful. One thing that I think about when talking about this is if y'all ever seen on Netflix what the Seinfeld guy, can't remember his name.
Oh, Jerry?
It was Jerry Seinfeld getting coffee with people or something.
Oh, comedians and cars getting coffee.
Yeah, so he did one with Kevin Hart, and there's one thing that Kevin Hart said where he was like, when he first got big, he bought himself a house, his mom a house, and his dad a house, and the next day he was like, oh shit, I'm broke. He was like, we gotta sell one of these houses.
Yeah. I have two thoughts. One's about that, and one's kind of like going back to an earlier conversation. There's a Drake song. I don't remember which one it is. It's an older one where he pretty much talks about that. Like, his friends don't have to worry about anything because they know that he's taking care of them at this point, right? Which is pretty cool. It's a cool lyric. I have to look it up now and see which song it's from. I'm pretty sure it's from. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I'm looking headlines. I'm pretty sure it's from Headlines. But secondly, we're going back on about like writing about experiences that maybe we haven't experienced firsthand. And it made me think of the Glass Animals song, Domestic Bliss. This dude, the lead singer of Glass Animals, wrote a song about his earliest childhood memory, and that was going back to his friend's house. And his friend's mom was physically abused by her husband, right? And he wrote this long, heartbreaking song about that. He was only 6 years old. He like built this whole story about that situation from a memory he had when he was 6 years old. And it's a great song. So I think that is possible to do. I was like trying to figure out what song that was for the longest time on there.
Jesus.
But it's a really good song. I know it's not Logic, but
it's all good.
Yeah, it's all adjacent. So what do you guys think about like all his influences? Kind of interested to get that take. He's a huge he's a huge Quentin Tarantino fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's funny. Are you guys?
Nolan.
Huh?
I think he also loves Christopher Nolan too.
Yeah.
Oh, a man of culture. He does mention Christopher Nolan in one of his songs. I can't remember which one.
I think it might be Metropolis.
Yeah.
Which is the same song that the girl on the train is asking him what's his favorite Tarantino movie.
Oh, doesn't she's like, oh yeah, I haven't seen them all, and then he's like, well, which one's your favorite? And what does she say?
No, I think he's asking her. She's like, I don't. He's like, I can't believe you don't like Tarantino. And she's like, oh, it's because I don't like him because when it's like non-Tarantino-esque, then I like him. But when it is Tarantino-esque, I don't. He's like, so Inglourious Bastards. And she's like, what? I haven't seen that one. He's like, what?
You mean what about the dude from Donnie Darko? I haven't seen that one either. He's like, ah.
Yeah, he's like, the dude from the train, you know? Like,
yeah. Have you guys ever had that conversation? Well, I think, Justin, I think you told me, didn't you say you had a girlfriend or something like that? But, so this might not apply to you right now, but didn't you, haven't you guys ever done that when, like, you're having a conversation with a girl and she's, like, super attractive, and then you start talking about, like, what you actually like, and then she's like...
There's nothing in common.
Nothing in common. She's like a freaking... like there's just no reverberating there. Like, she could be hot as can be, but like if she's not willing to sit down and like at least watch a couple episodes of anime with me, I'd probably be like, You're like, oh, probably not the girl for me.
I've had that, yeah.
I think everybody on both sides of the tracks have had some kind of experience like that. If you're something you're really passionate about. I saw the meme the other day where it was like me when my boyfriend starts talking about something he's passionate about, and it's Lilo and Stitch, and it's when Stitch wakes up Lilo and he has the book and he's like pointing at it. I think we've all been Stitch and we've all been Lilo at some point.
Dude, I do that with my fiance all the time. Like, thankfully she likes some of the things that I do now. I've got her really big into My Hero, and I was like, think of something. But I just want, like, sometimes I get really passionate about like rappers or animes I love. It's like, this is fantastic, and she was like, yeah, that's cool.
Cool.
Just patting you in the head, like, oh,
yeah,
good job, you like something. Yeah, well, Mazel Tov, bro. I didn't know that she was a fiance, so congratulations.
Yeah.
Also, congratulations on liking My Hero. Great show.
I'm telling you, if y'all have like an anime episode, boy.
there is an anime episode coming because I am quite the weeb.
Oh yeah. Which, talking about anime, have you guys? So his other inspiration, Cowboy Bebop.
Mm-hmm. I love Cowboy Bebop.
Dude, Cowboy Bebop is freaking awesome. Which what's his name? Steve Bloom, right?
Yeah, he's on The Incredible True Story as Quentin Thomas, the captain.
Which, if you guys don't know who Steve Bloom is, let me educate you right now.
I might need some educating.
Steve Bloom is the GOAT of voice actors.
Oh yeah,
he's Tom from Toonami. He's Spike.
Brimstone from Valorant.
He's
who?
Brimstone.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
He's the older white dude.
I remember that now. He's also in
on the Incredible True Story album.
He's also in Black Ops Cold War.
Yeah, he's the dude from Zombies, the Richtoff or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Which let me pull up some IMDb here.
He's in a lot of stuff now that I think about it.
He's also Goku in Dragon Ball GT game.
He is?
Yeah.
How is he Goku? Goku's usually like a really happy-go-lucky voice.
I don't know. They were just trying to find someone, but the PS1 game, Dragon Ball GT Final Bout, he's Goku in it.
That's an interesting one.
Dude, he's been Wolverine. He's been Zeb Oriolis from Star Wars Rebels.
He was Zeb?
Yeah, he was Zeb. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, he was in Last of Us Part 2. He's Doppo from Baki. I did not know that. Dude,
he is.
Doppo is such a gangster character.
Doppo is Rochi.
Doppo Rochi.
I won't recognize him much from animes because
that dude takes
I'm a
an
sub
explosive
master.
to the face and he's still alive. How? That dude literally gets bitch slapped with an explosive and he lives.
Dude. Oh, and like he's so happy that his hand got cut off so that his fist won't break anytime he punches somebody in the face.
Oh yeah. Bro,
Dude.
You see how badly he beat up Ollie Jr. or whatever?
Oh yeah.
The black kid? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like everyone took like he won against everyone and then they just took it their turns like beating the ever living crap out of that dude.
Yeah. Muhammad Ali Jr. was a pretty cool addition to the Baki story. But yeah, spoilers, right? I mean, this podcast is kind of full of spoilers, like if you guys haven't noticed. So, so if you're watching Baki and you're catching up, sorry.
I haven't even watched it yet. No, I don't want to watch it.
Oh, Dakotah. Yeah, but yeah, Steve Bloom is super freaking cool. Like just his body of work is pretty impressive. And Spike from Cowboy Bebop is probably
Spike Spiegel.
Yeah, is probably his pinnacle performance. And Dakotah, for you saying that or just watching subs, right? They actually said that, you know, for people that believe that there's no such thing as a good dub, you got to watch Cowboy Bebop.
I know there's good dubs. If I had the choice, I'd prefer to watch subs.
Gotcha. Loses a point. I can't watch sub. I can't, just because I can't follow the action. Not to sound stupid or anything, but I like to like actually follow, but not read at the same time.
I got
It's like how people watch Attack on Titan sub, bro. I don't understand how they do it.
I grew up. I kind of learned how to speed read as a kid, and so like it's never really been a problem because usually I just like I'll read it like almost instantly and then like just watch. It's kind of like I've read like 1,000-page books in like a day. It's just one of those things that now how much of that I retain is questionable, but
you see, I go into a weird trance where I don't even realize that I'm reading anymore.
Yeah.
Like when I'm watching, and then for like 2 seconds, I'm like, oh my God, I know Japanese. And then I look away, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't understand anything they just said.
Nani?
I think I've done that with Ip Man.
Yeah.
Ip Man?
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Ip Man's freaking awesome.
No, but since it's so long, I was like, I forgot that I was reading subtitles, and I was like, oh, I know the language.
I know Chinese.
Yada yada does it.
Oh, dude.
Is that a JoJo reference?
Hell yeah.
Dude, don't get this man started.
That's how he got into anime.
No, I didn't get into anime from JoJo's.
Stop
it was
lying.
the second one I watched though.
JoJo.
Oh, that was the first.
That's what turned me into a super weeb though. JoJo, that's for sure.
Bro, if you want the title of super weeb, I think JoJo is a requirement. That's why I haven't gone full super weeb. I feel like I have achieved weeb status, but
you gotta do research for the anime episode, so you gotta watch something.
Yeah, JoJo's is great.
No, dude. Anime is my stuff, dude. I've been watching anime since I was in middle school, starting with Dragon Ball Z.
I love Dragon Ball Z. That's my all-time favorite one. Like, to the roof.
Which characters? Which one's your favorite character?
Oof. That's hard.
This is where judgment comes into play.
I could tell you what happened with me is as a kid, I loved Goku. Goku was the coolest person. But having watched Dragon Ball Super recently,
oh my God,
as an adult,
he's so stupid.
I think that Goku's an idiot.
Dude,
Vegeta's like the real main character.
He's so stupid and super. Like they made that director choice, and I hate it. Like all he does, like at least in Z. I'm going off topic here, but at least in Z, like he was okay, like he was smart kinda, but in Super, he's stupid, he loves to eat, and he loves fighting, and literally because of him, that's the reason why the Universal Saga was started, because of him. He wanted to fight the top players, so he was like people were saying he's the true villain of that arc.
Yeah.
Because without him, like, their universes would have been in danger.
Maybe.
I didn't think about it that way. You see, first, of course, love Goku in the beginning.
I went off.
No. But I just want to defend my character choice. So my first love of Dragon Ball Z was, of course, Goku, then Trunks. But as I got older, Vegeta became such a cool character to me. Mm-hmm. Like, and also he has that whole redemption type thing going for him. Like, he was such a villain when he first started. Like, you hated Vegeta when he first came on the scene, but slowly and surely he's like won everybody's heart. You know, just as hard as he's trying to catch up to Goku in strength, he's catching up to Goku in my heart.
Yeah, it's sad he'll never get up to Goku though, because they love him.
Well, okay, again, spoiler for people, but so Ultra Instinct, right, is the techniques, the Angel's technique, but apparently the Gods of Destruction have their own technique.
Yeah, and the latest chapter I saw a screenshot. Beerus was like, "Training's not my duty, but I'm gonna go train myself. And if there's a technique you want to steal, you can steal it or whatever." And that's like the basis of like, oh, Vegeta's gonna get the power of the gods or something.
Oh yeah, or the Gods of Destruction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think my favorite's always been Vegeta, and I like second is like Super Saiyan 2, Teen Gohan, and then Trunks.
Oh, dude, that scene. Okay, well, yeah, we've gotten way off topic from
Man, Logic's an anime fan. If he was listening, he'd probably appreciate this.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Yeah. But going back to a Logic adjacent conversation, Cowboy Bebop is doing a live action version on Netflix. And
Yikes.
I am looking forward to that. And who was it that is going to be Spike? It's the guy from Harold and Kumar. Man, what's his name?
I'm always worried about Netflix adaptation or live action adaptations of any anime. Like Death Notes was terrible.
Death Notes.
You see the meme where it's like anime, manga, Netflix adaptation, and it's always a joke. Like I don't know. It's like when they tried to do like a JoJo's live action. I think they tried to do Stardust Crusaders, and it was like hilariously bad.
They actually did Diamond is Unbreakable.
Yeah, that's like my least favorite JoJo arc.
I love that JoJo arc.
I think my favorite's either is the one with the Aztec dubstep, part 2.
That's Battle Tendencies.
Battle Tendency.
Wait a minute.
Golden
Did you
Wind.
just say Aztec dubstep?
Yeah.
You need to watch JoJo's, dude.
I love like their theme song.
I play it in Discord all the time.
Wamu.
Oh.
The next thing you'll say is this. That's like the coolest thing.
All I always hear is "Very good job, Caesar-chan."
Very
or
nice, Caesar-chan.
Or "Oh shit." Also, what's the Discord's favorite? Dakotah, you do it the best.
Which one?
You know which one.
No, I don't.
Stop pretending, bro.
No, you've lost me.
Is it Zawado?
Zawado, is it that one?
No, it's Jotaro-kun.
Oh yeah, Jojo. Dio.
No. Stop! You stop pretending.
That's it.
Jotaro-kun.
Oh, that.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I bet you anything that if somebody was listening to this for Logic, they're like, "What the heck just happened to this
They
episode?"
accidentally click fast forward on Spotify. The first thing they hear is that. What's going
I told my friends download me on podcast. I'm like, yeah, we'll listen to it. They get an hour in.
Oh yeah, no. Once they get an hour in, it's crazy. But all right, so actually, that is a good point. Let's go ahead and jump back into the topic at hand. Favorite Logic album? Justin, go first.
All right, said mine. It's between An Incredible True Story or No Pressure.
Got you.
No Pressure's
Good choice. Jorge.
I love Incredible True Story, but I think there's something about Under Pressure that just I always go back to it for some reason.
It's a classic.
Even though Incredible True Story is good, but it's a fantasy album, you know.
Yeah.
Under Pressure is some real stuff.
That's true.
After we get off of this, there's something I want to talk about him as well. But continue.
Go for it, man. Just go for it. Say it.
But I think it's at the end of The Incredible True Story, and it's at the start of No Pressure, and there's another song or something. I don't remember what it's called, but he has this philosopher in there called Alan Watts, and he is so good.
Oh yeah.
And like just what he talks about, and I actually watched a radio interview with Logic, and this dude called in crying because he's talking to Logic. He's like, "You saved my life, and you've been there for me." And he asks like why he had Alan Watts in there, and basically Logic was like, "What I was trying to say the whole album of The Incredible True Story, that man put it in. He said it in 13 minutes, like the hour-long album."
So unfortunately, some of the video and audio got cut off while recording. So I'm just going to pick back up where it finished cutting off.
Put that dude in there. But also, he's also famous along with a lot of rappers and musicians these days. His name's Alan Watts. He's really good.
Yeah, I think I've heard him before Logic, and then I heard him on the album and thought that was pretty cool.
Another crazy feature that he has is on Everybody, the album with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like, what kind of rapper has Neil deGrasse Tyson on their album? And I was listening to him, and he's like, that was probably one of the craziest features I've ever had.
No, best feature, hands freaking down.
Big Sean.
Rick and Morty.
Oh my god,
dude, the Rick and Morty.
I watched that
feature
episode.
Is so funny.
I'm really sad that he only showed up at the end though.
Yeah.
But I wish he was like throughout the entire episode, but that was still good.
Oh, you're talking about when he was on Rick and Morty. Dude, that's how gangster he is. Rick Sanchez. Rick Sanchez is like, yeah, Logic's dope. Logic's dope, Morty. You know what I'm saying? Like, Morty. Dude, if it's Rick Sanchez approved, it's Ralph Isaac approved. That's all I'm saying. All right. But yeah. Okay, so that's my favorite album. Bobby Tarantino 2. Even though it's not an album, it's a mixtape. But I don't want to get into the semantics of that. I'm just saying.
You want that boom bap trap shit?
I like that boom bap trap. Stacks on stacks on stacks.
Talking about stacks on some ass.
Yeah. So
I like that version of Logic. I like more of the message Logic and talking about like his not like his life but personal stuff and fantasy and stuff.
Well, don't get me wrong. I love all that other stuff, but like I think that was the first album that I just like listened. Well, no, that's a lie. Incredible True Story was the first album that I heard all the way through. But that was probably like the first album, and it was like at a point in my life where I was like feeling good, you know. I was just trying
you just want to bop.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to flow, bro, and that was the time of my life, so that's why it resonated with me so hard. Although Everybody is cool, and I do like the philosophy of Everybody, even though I don't agree with a lot of like the religious aspects of it. But the concept of it was super cool. That like, what if everybody was reincarnated into everybody else's life, and everybody got to experience everybody's life and everybody's pain, everybody's happiness, everybody's point of view, at least once, to be like a more superior being. That is a pretty cool concept. Now, I don't think it's necessarily true, obviously. I mean, it's coming from a rapper. I that mind experiment or that thought experiment is really cool because I think a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to be put in other people's shoes. Definitely not enough. And I think he made that point really good. That hey, we're all people. Like, let me tell you this, or this is how I feel, at least about people in general. If I cut you and you bleed red, you're my brother, right? Like, nobody's different. Like, just because our melanin reacts a little different in our bodies doesn't make us any different from one another. So I really like that point. And Dakotah, don't think I forgot about you, bro. What's your favorite Logic album?
Incredible True Story. I started listening to it in quite a formative time. I've been going through some stuff and was coming out of I was on the tail end of it. And like I said, I was traveling, started listening to that album, and so much of it just a lot of it I related to. A lot of it was just really good, and a lot of it was just very motivating. I think of just looking Fade Away is probably one of my favorite songs ever. But then you look at songs like Never Been, that's my second favorite Logic song because it's a song about going through some stuff, and now he's on the other side of it, and that was a huge song, and I loved it. And then it's not Incredible True Story. I'm going to kind of throw out a random one that we haven't really talked about a lot, and that's Young Sinatra 4. I really like that.
I like his Last Call. I thought that was super cool. I also like the fact that he gave a shout out to Mac Miller. Rip Mac Miller.
I also did it for Lil Peep.
Lil Peep, yeah. I think it's cool that he did that. And going back to his whole message about mental health and mental, I think I said this during the Radiohead podcast as well. People go through such difficult times, and a lot of times they feel like they have nobody to talk to. And obviously we always encourage everybody to reach out to somebody, if you're going through a hard time, and if you want to reach out to us, I mean, you're more than welcome to. There's ways to get a hold of us if you want to, and it's just one of those things. But yeah. Anyways, so Justin, there is a thing that I like to do at the end of each one of these shows. And I've already asked Dakotah and Jorge this question, so now you're in the hot seat for a very philosophical, important question. Do you think music can change the world? And if so, why?
I wholeheartedly agree with it. I think without music, the world would be a very different place, because people use music as a way to get, it's the same as TV and movies and stuff. People use it as an outlet to get away from the traditional world or to go into your own type of world. And I've experienced with music just being alone in my room and just put on my headphones and escaping into reality and just listening to these songs and that make you feel good, that speak to you on a personal level, or that help you. Because I know there are people that again with Logic and stuff, with all that, they help you get through rough situations. And it's not physically or helping you or anything, but it makes you feel good. And it's just, you have a hard time through middle school or high school, people have their emo phases too, so they listen to those type of bands just to get through it, and I totally understand it. My big middle school one was Eminem, and a lot of his music was goofy at times, but also personal. And I just think that music is such a good thing for the world to have, and without it, I think people would go insane, honestly, because they can't escape.
I hear you.
I have two things on that. First of all, I would never be able to get out of bed every day if I didn't listen to Dance Monkey at least once. And then secondly, who says that emo is only a high school phase? I may have never left it.
Well, some people don't.
It's not a phase, Mom.
Man, I'll tell you this. To this day, some of my favorite music is like Taking Back Sunday, Emery. You know.
I never had a big emo phase. I think the only thing that I ever listened to was Falling in Reverse.
Falling in Reverse.
Good. I like Falling in Reverse.
Is that a band? I haven't checked it out.
Yeah,
yet.
They have the one song where it's a. This is a very middle school thing to say. It's like, good girls only like bad guys.
Bro, I feel like that's true to now.
Yeah, probably.
Even applies to actually. You know what? A interesting factoid. If you put 3 single guys in a bar, right, and 2 of them are normal people, and one of them is a narcissist, the one that's gonna walk out with the most numbers is the narcissist. Like, this was like a psychological experiment that
Really?
was done, and for some reason, like, narcissists have more game. I don't know what it is about it, but yeah.
It's probably the unwavering confidence that they have in themselves and their abilities. They don't second question anything about themselves because they're dope.
Are they really dope?
It's like the famous.
Say against that statement, but
it's the famous. It's like the famous Kanye West phrase. My life is dope, and I do dope shit.
Dude,
that's why he's fucking what's his name? And getting divorced
from Kim. Yeah, no, I mean that's another. You know what? That's a whole other episode, right? That's a whole other episode. But I'll tell you what, I used to not. So when he first started, I had respect for him. Then I lost a lot of respect for him because of some stuff that I like. I'm just like, I'm over it. I don't like his antics. Then he came out with the whole mental issue too, and I'm like, okay, that's a little bit more understandable. But now after he's been on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I've gotten to listen to him for like, what was it, 3 hours? It was like a long podcast. I kind of understand the dude a lot more, and I kind of respect his thought process and what he's trying to do with his life now. So like then again, like I said, people go through stuff and you have no idea what's going on until you actually get to know them. So until somebody actually lets them talk, right? That's the thing. Once you finally get to talk enough, people get to understand who you really are. So,
and it's funny that Kanye West had, especially on the song Nicki, he had an influence on Logic with the addiction song. What's your addiction? Is it money? Is it girls? So he said that during that song that he was just like listening to that song all the time. And it's crazy how many influences he has, like a Tribe Called Quest and
Frank
Wu-Tang
Sinatra,
Clan.
obviously.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Badu.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with Tribe Called Quest is crazy that I don't know if you guys listened to the Supermarket album.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
But
I listened to it once and I don't remember much of it.
But there's a song on there. What is it? Can I kick it? Can I kick it with you? Let's make sure.
Oh yeah, it is. Can I kick it? Are you going to talk about like the copyright thing?
Yeah, that he wanted that sample so bad that he didn't care how much he gets paid for that song. And by the end of it, that all those songs proceeds, Can I Kick It With You, just go to that person who owns the sample.
I think it's Lou Reed.
I think so.
Really?
He gets no money from that song at all.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that man wrote a book.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he wrote a book, which I'm not gonna lie is not my favorite. I tried to read it. He writes in stream of consciousness, and that's usually pretty tough to pull off. But I'm probably gonna finish reading it just for prosperity's sake. But the soundtrack,
about, like some girl that he falls in love with, or about the character falling in love with a girl or something.
So it's about a writer that gets a book deal, and then he starts working at a grocery store. But that's as far as I got. But I think there's a sci-fi element to it, and I haven't gotten there yet. And maybe if I force myself to finish reading the book, like it'll all make sense and it'll be really good. But I like I'm sorry. I got through like about half of it. But the soundtrack is dope. Okay.
My favorite track on it is Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's great. That's great. All right. So we've been at this for a little while now. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. But Justin, the new tradition is if you are the special guest, you get to choose the closing words of wisdom.
I get to choose the closing words of wisdom.
Yeah, so it could be whatever you want. It could be funny. It could be insightful. But it's whatever you choose, bro. Go ahead. I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't prepare them for this, people. I'm sorry. That's just what I'm gonna do from now on.
I'm just gonna read it because I'm not that original. So I'm gonna read one from Alan Watts.
Do it, bro.
Alan Watts once said, "Never pretend to love what you do not actually feel, for love is not ours to command."
Beautiful, bro. Way That's to good. End it. All right, Justin, thank you so much. Jorge and Dakotah, my faithful co-hosts. It's a wrap.